something that's been overlooked in all the fuss over Albanese's freebies, something far more dangerous to our future. I've just read something today that should set off the alarms in every Liberal politician's office, and I'm asking them, why haven't they said something? Because this is very serious. We could now see the nation's savings squandered on the Albanese government's failing and crazy global warming schemes. This man is Greg Combet. He used to be the boss of the ACTU, was later climate change minister in the Gillard Labor government, giving us the carbon tax. Yes, he's a global warming crusader. Now, the danger is that the Albanese government has this year put Combet in charge of our Future Fund, replacing former Liberal Treasurer Peter Costello. The Future Fund is massive. I mean, we're talking about $225 billion. It's a fund meant to earn money to pay specifically for unfunded super that the government has to pay public servants. Under Costello, who did that job brilliantly, earned on average more than 8% a year for a decade. And one reason for that is that under Costello, who doesn't muck around with climate change nonsense, it made a lot investing in fossil fuels, coal companies, gas companies. But now Combet says he wants to use this huge pot of money to invest in the government's global warming schemes, clean energy and all that. He said the Australian economy faces an important challenge to reduce greenhouse gas emissions, and sourcing opportunities for investment in the energy transition will be a feature of our strategy, which is terrifying. And for a start, nowhere in the legislation to create this future fund, nowhere in its charter, is it said that its job is to fight global warming. It's simply there to make as much money as is legally possible to help keep the government solvent. As the Future Fund itself says, it is required under its Act to seek to maximise the return earned on the fund over the long term, consistent with international best practice. But now here is Combet saying, no, we've got to help cut Australia's emissions. No, it doesn't. So where would Combet then like to invest our billions instead? He hasn't said specifically, but did spell out a few hints in a speech earlier this year.
Hundreds of billions of dollars in investment will be needed to achieve net zero. Green hydrogen, green metals, green manufacturing. There are opportunities like this in other industrial regions around the country.
Let's look at just the first of these so-called opportunities. Green hydrogen. Seriously? That's not an opportunity, Greg. That is a money pit. I know the government's red hot for green hydrogen, which is supposed to use massive amounts of wind and solar power to make hydrogen from water.
Our green hydrogen future is fundamental to that clean energy future.
Trouble is, as Bowen has found, big energy companies like Origin, Woodside and Andrew Fortescue have since walked away from the government's planned hydrogen hubs, saying that green hydrogen is just too expensive to make work. And in fact, just last week, the government's own Australian Renewable Energy Agency said green hydrogen does not work economically in any circumstances at the moment. The cost of solar power would have to fall by 2/3 before hydrogen became cheap enough to use. So is that what our new head of the Future Fund calls an opportunity? So you see the danger when an ideologue moves from the simple goal of just making money, he's then risking chasing dreams and not dollars. And at risk are Australia's savings. Greg Combet must be stopped.